I milled it with a drawing, and if I say so myself, they're bang on. Right, hi everyone. We've had a problem on the car for a long time now of it leaking automatic transmission fluid. And I have tried various things to solve this. The sort of latest thing that I did was I put a rubber gasket on it rather than the cork gasket. And also I sort of straightened out the bottom of the transmission pan and that sort of thing, try and get it to seal. The latest idea, and you'll see in a previous video, we made some spreader bars to spread the load around the transmission pan. So it's now time to dive under the car and fit these and see if it works. Also, while we're under there, it was just over a week ago that I put a nice clean tray under there, so we'll see if it's leaking anything. Knowing my luck, it will have sealed up, and putting these on will make it leak again. Right, first things first, we are still leaking. Good, so that tells us we've still got a bit of a leak going on. I'm kind of pleased about that. I would have been very annoyed if this had fixed itself. So let's put you under the transmission pan there. Yeah, we've got a dribble on the back there. It does look like it's that back part of the gasket. So it's wet down here with it. Right, so what we're going to do this is where we are going to get to find out if I can measure bolts and mill things to the millimetre. So I'm going to do this bar by bar. I'm not going to take the whole pan off because that's asking for trouble. Okay, so one of these bars will fit that. It's that one. It's looking good. So I did this totally off a drawing. I took very accurate measurements of where all these bolts are. I milled it with a drawing, and if I say so myself, they're bang on. I hope they're all like that. See, the idea is that that bar holds it all nice and flat. I'll tighten it to what feels right. See, what that should be doing now is spreading the load. It's either going to make it better or worse. Alright, let's do the one at the back. They are absolutely spot on, those bars. Wow. I'll tell you what, give the gives the precision machinist a pay rise for that. I've learnt a lot of things with this car, and this latest has been a very interesting thing to learn. The ability to learn how to sort of mill and turn metal to such precise dimensions. It's been incredibly interesting as a thing to learn. You're never too old to learn these things. Oh, I think we've actually got one that's wrong. No, it's not wrong. It was just the wrong way around. All I did to make these was I drew the gasket in CAD from a picture of a gasket that was on eBay, where somebody was selling one of these gaskets, had taken a picture of it. And that let me get all the curves and everything. And of course, all we've done is taken straight lines. And I sort of guesstimated the sizes of that, and then came under the car with a drawing and a set of vernier calipers and just measured it accurately. And if you know how to use a set of vernier calipers properly, you can actually measure to the sort of points, to 2 decimal places of a millimetre. So you can measure to the 10 microns. Fortunately, all of these bolts have got a little tiny dimple right in the centre, and that made it really easy to get a measurement. Because you could just put the prong of the vernier caliper straight in the dimples. My logic with this is it might help, it can't make it any worse. There we go. So every one of those has gone on without disturbing that pan. So we haven't broken the seal on that gasket. All we can do, we'll clean the pan out, clean the drain pan out again, and see if any more comes out. That's all we can do. That's the total amount of leakage that's come out in a week. So there is a leak, but it's nowhere near as significant as it was. Auto transmission fluid does seem to leak with great gusto. So, there really isn't very much of it at all. So we've got a nice shiny tray to go back under there again when we put the car away. I just want to show this as well. This is a little project that I made on the lathe and the mill. On the milling machine, and I've also put on the lathe, I've also put the keyway into the centre of it. So it's got a
a bayonet like
It took a while to get it to build it. It's built out of aluminium. The old one here was plastic, and it had broken across the top, because what there actually is, inside this there's a groove, and the bonnet stay has got a little sort of tab on it which rolls around in that groove, hence that keyhole slot in one side of it to get it in there, and that breaks them. So I'm hoping that this will be a good solution. I'm actually trying to get some of these made, because they break on everybody's car, and they fit on quite a lot of cars. And now I've got the design, now I've got the dimensions, and it's all in CAD. I should be able to get it CNC machined. So I'm trying to get some of these made for people. I'd already previously made this. I 3D printed that out of TPU, so it's slightly squashy. You will have seen in the opening credits, you'll have seen an incident where I was pulling a pipe off and my arm hit the bar and it came out of the broken clip and the bonnet landed on my head. You see now this rotates in there quite nicely and it clips in there like it should. That's all absolutely perfect the way it should be. I'm really pleased with that. So while we're at it, let's just put this grille back into place rather than having it laying around to get broken. So let's just put that back, and then we can probably call it a day for today. There's sort of other things I need to do with these grills, like these are breaking up here, so I need to model all of these. In fact, I'll tell you what, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Rather than put this back, because we've got like pegs broken off of it on the bottom, things on the top here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take this back home and I'm going to model some things up in CAD, because I think what I can do is if I can model it properly, I can 3D print a piece of plastic which, if you like, will sit over that and hug into that moulding, and let that sort of sit over the top of that, and then it will give me a new screw hole to screw to. When I was making that bonnet stay hinge, I did take some very shaky mobile phone footage. So if it was any good, some of it might have got interspersed into this. If it wasn't any good, this is a really short video. I didn't do a second by second, blow by blow set of videos on making that, because I don't know if that's what you guys are interested in. There are other machining channels out there that do sort of long and lengthy videos with very close lathe work and that sort of thing. Blondie Hacks, for example, is an excellent YouTube channel where Quinn is very, very forthcoming with information and very keen to get people into the world of using precision machines and turning metal and milling metal, because she thinks that there's an artificial bar that stops people from going into it, and I completely agree with her. Some of the things she's taught me have been absolutely invaluable, and she has proved that with care, with attention to detail, and with practice, you can do it, and that's absolutely brilliant. I thank her greatly for that. I'll link her channel below. So I didn't make blow by blow video because actually I wanted to get on and make it and not sometimes I do these things because I want to be able to fail in private. But I did show the machining of those bars for the underside. Let's hope that seals up the auto transmission. So anyway, it's really cold. I'm going to go home and warm up. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, all that sort of stuff. We are nudging. We're nearly at 500 subscribers. I know that's not major YouTube sensation territory, but actually 500 people being interested in this nearly 46-year-old car being brought back to life is great. So that's wonderful. I only originally started this as a, I suggested it as a flippant joke to the guy I bought the car from. I said, I might document some of the rebuild on YouTube, because when I bought the car, I did promise that I would save it and I wouldn't scrap it. So yeah. 500 people watching this little channel is amazing for me. I know there are channels out there with 100,000 subscribers and that sort of stuff, but they get into a very strange world. They have to make it pay, they have to start to employ people. They have to, and that means they have to start shilling products left, right, and centre, and things like that. I don't. Anything I've recommended, anything I've shown, I've paid for myself. Nothing's been given to me. And that means that if something is good, I can tell you that it's good because it's good, and for no other reasons. And also, if something is useless, I can tell you it's useless. Anyway, I'm rambling. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share. I'll see you in the next one.